All right. Good morning. Time for final thoughts for the deep dish football game of the week. Richmond-Burton takes on Quincy Notre Dame, and again, as I stated before, Coach Cornell he did a great job getting his team ready when they drove out to Westmont last year. This year, it's going to be a little bit of a further drive going to Richmond-Burton. The main thing is that he has to control the environment and get those kids prepared, ready for a great game. This is going to be a big game. Um, Especially with that athletic quarterback that they have, Ike Wiley. Definitely a player to check out. Underrated secondary too. House, who plays running back, plays defensive back. Again, they have a lot of two-way players. This is going to be a big game for them, and also Richmond-Burn's got some two-way players too. Now for Richmond-Burn's side, basically disrupt that line. Huber is going to play a huge part, as Ike Wiley is going to play a huge part for Quincy Notre Dame. Also, Grant, their nose tackle slash defensive tackle, who I absolutely I adore. The kid's a hell of a player, underrated player too. He does a great job of disrupting the offensive line. He will be a huge key for Friday night. I'm excited. It should be a lot of fun. I think that personally with Quincy Notre Dame, I think it's going to rely a lot on Ike Wiley's arm. I also think that too for Richmond-Burton. I think a lot of it's going to rely on that running game and how Quincy Notre Dame can adapt to it and put a stop to it. And they can't give up a lot on those short passes that Richmond-Burton does, because if they do, they will make you miss. I do believe Richmond-Burton has an underrated group of wide receivers, and you go into Quincy Notre Dame, they've got a great group of underrated linebackers, and they fly to the ball, they do everything. They're great with their defensive reads. So they read their keys. That's the most important thing for a defense. So Quincy Notre Dame versus Richmond-Burton should be a lot of fun. I'm really excited. First time ever in Richmond-Burton. Um, and Richmond-Burton is 8-0. And you can't take that away. And 4A, if Rochester moves up to 5A, oh, geez, Richmond-Burton is sitting pretty. They're sitting really pretty. Um, for Quincy Notre Dame, I think the last thing that I saw is that they're going up to 3A. Quincy Notre Dame's got a great shot at 3A. They really do. If they stay at 3A, that's that's a something right there. That's a dark horse right there if they get into 3A. But if it was a little bit lower, they'd still be a dark horse. But definitely a team to look out for is Quincy Notre Dame. It's going to be a great game. I'm really excited. Um, and I'm happy someone recommended me this game. A lot of traveling, but still, it's going to be one of the best games in the state. Definitely a game to watch. I'm going to go more into the stats and more in depth for the deepest football game of the week. I'm going to talk a little bit more about Richmond-Burton's secondary, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about Quincy Notre Dame's offensive line. And Richmond-Burton's offensive line is probably one of the best in 4A. I I don't see anything better. I think they're one of the best in the 4A if Rochester goes to 5A. And if you get the cold, you get a wet field, that's a tough team. That's a tough team in the playoffs, Richmond-Burton, no doubt about it. But it should be a lot of fun. Two great coaching staffs, a Hall of Fame coach for Richmond-Burton, Quincy Notre Dame. Coach Cornell, his second year, he's building this team up perfectly. I'm excited about this game as the Raiders take on the Rockets. Simple as that. And again, my email is CoachBigPete, fp@gmail.com. Please follow Coach Big Pete and Deep Dish Football on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I will see you Friday night. I will be in the stands. Feel free to say hi.